Good evening and welcome to the Town of Smyrna Town Council Workshop for December 30th, 2021. Tonight we'll be setting our agenda for our next meeting. Before we begin, I'd like to ask Jerry Short to lead us in prayer and Councilman Morrell to lead us in the pledge. You can stand with me.
Pray with me. Our Heavenly Father, we're so thankful for this day, Lord. We're so thankful for the blessings that you give us, Father. We're so thankful for this time and season, Lord, in which we celebrate the birth of our Savior. Father, we ask that you be with us tonight as we work over the agenda for the town for our next meeting, Father. And I just pray that you give us wisdom, give us insight, help us to do the right things, Lord. Father, we're thankful for those that are here tonight, Father, and I pray blessings upon them as well, Father. Go with us now, and I pray this in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
If you would, please face the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you, Jerry and Tim. First item for discussion tonight, I'm going to let Brian have this. This is the recognition of the Stewart's Creek High School Video Production Program for the production and broadcast of the town's Smyrna Christmas Parade. Brian, you got something you want to
Yes,
start that up?
I appreciate that. We do have a couple of representatives tonight from Stewart's Creek. I just want to point out that this is the second year that we've been in partnership with the town of Smyrna and Stewart's Creek High School Video Production Program to produce our parade. And I will tell you, not only produce the parade, we literally give them the lineup as far as the floats and who's entered the parade. And these young folks, they shoot it, edit it, they write the script and everything that goes along with the parade. And it's one of those things that, you know, you can kind of take for granted, say, well, it's just a parade. But many of our shut-ins in the community, many folks that can't get out and go to the parade, this is the only way they have to participate in that parade. And I will tell you, we had probably the best parade as far as attendance, as far as the number of floats that we've ever had. Now, that may be because everybody's ready to get outside and enjoy it. We had a beautiful day, but these young folks did a great job, and they have been a great partner for us. So I would like to ask the council to come down, and we'll recognize
We had 17 on staff.
Okay. We had 17 participants. One of the young folks is here tonight, and also Chris Bissinger, the instructor there at Stewart's Creek that produces this program for us. So on behalf of the mayor and myself as town manager, I'd like to present to Chris Bissinger the certificate of recognition. And then also to Julia Priest, who I understand was kind of the lead during the parade. You took the leadership role, right? All right, would you like to say a few words? I'd like to put you on the spot.
I just love the opportunity to be able to get to have these kind of experiences through the program.
Very good. Chris?
I do not like to speak in public, and you know that. But it's an honor to represent Stewart's Creek High School, the town of Smyrna. We have an unbelievable opportunity and a partnership with the town, and we look forward to continuing it for many years.
Very good. Thank y'all so much. Chris?
Thank you.
Julia?
Appreciate it. Thanks for all your efforts. Chris.
Thank you. All right.
Appreciate y'all.
Okay.
Squeeze it out. Thank you. The circle right here.
So everybody has a full understanding of what's going on here tonight. We are not having a food sale. The budget is healthy, and we're doing well. But as you know, over the last couple of years, well, actually starting in 2015, I believe, part of the parade for the town of Smyrna has been a food drive. And we've asked participants in the parade not to pay a fee to be in the parade and those kind of things, but instead we've asked them to bring food items and contribute to Nourish Food Bank here locally. Then a couple of years ago, the mayor got real competitive with this and began to challenge the council and challenge the town manager. And there's even some very embarrassing pictures out there of somebody wearing a crown made with Beanie Weenie cans.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, the mayor couldn't be here tonight, so we'll hold that part of the crowning whoever is the king or queen of the food drive to a later date. But we have LaDonna Parham with the Nourish Food Bank here tonight. I just want to point out a couple things as LaDonna comes forward. This year in 2021, our parade was successful. We had a goal of 50,000 items. And tonight we have in food and in checks and cash, a total of 62,162 items for the Nourish Food Bank. Now, our chief that might be the responsible party for that embarrassing picture, they have been doing for 20 years, a food drive in the month of November with the fire department, with some of our local schools and Walmart. In 2021, they actually received 48,818 items. So combined, between the fire department in November and the town council and the parade committee, 110,980 items will be contributed to the Nourish Food Bank for this next year. We're very proud to be able to do that. One other just real tidbit item. I was thinking about from 2015 forward, just on the parade, what does that look like for the town of Smyrna and the contribution from our citizens and our partners and some of the council and the town manager and a little bit of friendly competition? What does that represent? Since 2015, when we started this process, 222,907 items just through the parade. That does not count what was done through the fire department, which would probably a number that would match that. So close to 500,000 items since 2015. So that's just awesome. So we have some food for you tonight, but more importantly, I have a package here full of cash and checks that I want to present to you and say thank you for what you do, and I'll turn the mic over to you.
Thank you so much, Brian, and the council and everyone here today and everyone in the town of Smyrna. You know, I'm not sure that everybody really knows the scope of services provided to folks in this community with your help. So I just super quickly wanted to say that during the height of COVID craziness in 2020, we served over 1 million meals worth of food in this community. This year, thankfully, those numbers are down, but still super high. We'll close out the year at about 700,000. So you can see where over 100,000 items really helps us serve those who are in crisis. You know, when we were in a stage with 300 families every 2 hours coming through our doors, there's zero possibility that we could have served those folks without everything that you all have done to support us through this. So we're just incredibly grateful for everything that you guys and the town council and all of the competitions that you all have done for us. So thank you.
Thank you, LaDonna.
Thank you.
Brian, will y'all do one picture together real quick? Yeah.
Something else. Thank you, LaDonna. We appreciate all you do for the community. Next on our agenda, we have a proclamation to do tonight. A lot of you are in the room here for this proclamation, I know. And tonight we're going to honor Diane with a proclamation for her 40 years of service here at the town of Smyrna. We're just so proud of her, and we just hate to see her go. We're going to miss her, love her. She's been a rock-steady person here for the town of Smyrna. So I'd like to read a proclamation, and then we're going to have Diane come up. So Diane, you might want to say a few words, be thinking about what that is, okay? This proclamation reads as such: We, the town of Smyrna, mayor and council, take great pride and pleasure in joining the many family members, co-workers, friends, and citizens of the Smyrna community in congratulating Diane Waldron upon her richly deserved retirement after 40 years of service to the town of Smyrna. And whereas the position of municipal clerk is a time-honored and essential part of local government, being one of the oldest professions in public service, and whereas, since joining the town of Smyrna in 1981, Diane Waldron has dedicated herself to providing the professional link between Smyrna's local governing body and its citizens. And whereas, according to the Center of Business and Economic Research at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, the population of Smyrna in 1980 was 8,839 citizens, with the United States Census boasting 53,070 citizens as of April 1st, 2020. And whereas Diane Waldron was appointed to the role of town clerk in 2001, with town treasurer being added to her responsibilities in 2008. She has remained a shining example of Smyrna excellence and is known to be a person of integrity and a steady source of strength for her employees. And whereas Diane has demonstrated her commitment to and knowledge of the position of town clerk by attaining the certification of certified municipal clerk on both the national and state levels. And whereas, through her tireless efforts, Diane Waldron has provided faithful and professional service to 7 mayors and numerous council members in the performances of their duties. And whereas, after all her successes, Diane Waldron is retiring from her position as town clerk and treasurer to enjoy a well-earned retirement that will be marked by more time spent with family and friends. We extend to her our heartfelt appreciation for a job very well done serving a community she loves. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the mayor and council of the town of Smyrna do hereby commend the dedicated service provided to the town of Smyrna citizens, to the town council and all of town of Smyrna departments through her 40 years of selfless service, and extend best wishes on the congratulatory occasion of the retirement of Diane Waldron. Diane, would you join us up here? I think she's entitled to a round of applause, don't you? Now, you know the chief's going to have his camera taking a lot of pictures of you, so you might want to be ready. I do want to say we had a little opportunity just before the meeting tonight for the employees here at the city to be able to gather around Diane and let her know how much we care about her, love her, and appreciate all that she's done. But tonight we want to do that publicly, so I'm going to ask Diane to say a few words.
I just want to tell all the citizens of Smyrna that I have truly been blessed in this position, and I hope I've touched a lot of lives out of there, and I love all of the employees here. They are like my second family, and I just don't have the words to express it. So I will be around. I'll be checking up on everybody, so don't think I'm gone.
Amber and Jenny, you better watch out. I think she's going to be watching you guys pretty close. Yes, you want to mention all your family?
I have my 2 daughters.
Raise your hand if she says it, so we all know.
Kim, Jennifer, my 2 son-in-laws, Jay, Troy, 3 grandchildren. I have my granddaughter, and Sydney, and my grandsons, Mac and Ty. I have my brother, Steve, his wife, Dolores, my sister, Sandra, her husband, Murray, and nieces, Amy with her son, Cooper. I have Corey with her daughter, and Lee. I have Suzanne, and I have another grandson, Alex, with his wife, Maddie, and a great-granddaughter, Selah.
Good gracious. No wonder she's got to retire, right? I mean, somebody's been busy besides you, right?
You can see why I'm retired.
Well, I don't want to speak for everybody. If somebody wants to say something, I'd be glad to hand the mic to them, let them do that. But just on behalf of us at the town, you know how much we think of you. You know how much we love you. We are going to miss you, and looking over at that chair is going to be a little different with Amber sitting over there. But Amber's up for it.
Yes,
She'll do a great job.
I've left it.
you've left it in good hands.
Jenny and Amber will
Yeah,
do
you've got
great things.
you got a great department back there to do support for these new folks, and we appreciate it all. So, thanks so much. Chief, did you get your picture okay? Do we need to squeeze that in a little tighter? Okay.
Oh, and I also forgot, my husband's here.
Well,
He was sitting on the wrong side.
hey, what's going on in the family that you're way over there and they're all way over here?
They told me when I got here, I could get a better shot over here.
Okay. Why don't you come up and join us, Tom?
I told him to sit, and he sat.
Tom, there's going to be a lot more of that.
Scoot into each
All right,
other.
we're going to try to squeeze in here.
Squeeze in like you love each other. Oh, that's. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Kim, did you do one?
Hey, Diane.
It don't look like good.
I've got to get my agenda.
Here, you can have this one. Hey, Troy. Good.
And I should also recognize the staff.
Yes.
Jenny, Tammy, Cece, Deanna,
Thank you all.
and I claim Casey.
I'll give her back.
I think that's the most Diane's talked since she's been here right there.
Half the room's empty.
Yeah. All
I
right.
think they're all
So,
going to Legends for dinner. I said, I hope they wait to order until you get there, Diane.
yeah, somebody might want to call Legends right now. Tell them what's coming. All right, next, we'll go over some of the items on our agenda tonight for our workshop. So number 4 is a consideration of an ordinance relative to the rezoning of property located on tax map 33. Parcels 49, 00, parcel 51.00, 51.01, 51.02, and 51.03. And tax map 33B, Group B, parcel 50.0, from R1 and R3 to C2 and PRD requested by Matt Huff. The properties requested contain approximately 88.15 acres and are located on Enon Springs Road West. This will be a second reading. Mitch?
You're gonna ask that I follow that up?
Yeah.
All right. This is a rezoning request, second hearing on it for Sims Ridge, which is located on Union Springs Road West, north of the Rocky Fork Schools. Southeastern portion of this requested area is between Union Springs Road West and Percival, which is within the Union Springs overlay, and that would remain even if this request was to be approved. Surrounding zoning for this property is R1, R3, C2, and PUD, including the Cedar Creek townhomes and a two C4 zone lots as well. Land use plan for this property includes office, retail, multifamily in the front portion of it, and medium density residential, which is about 5 to 9 units an acre for the rear or northern portion of this property. This request is for 21.87 acres to be rezoned to C2 on that front portion along Eden Springs Road West, and 66.28 acres to rezone PRD, which would consist of 128 single-family lots, 70 townhomes, and 74 age-restricted townhomes. As part of this development, there are a couple roads that would be added and extended. One of these is Wildwood, which would extend from Eden Springs Road West to connect to the existing Wildwood Drive, which is existing north of the schools currently. And also Percival Street would be extended through this development and connect along to the northern portion of Percival Street, which is currently stubbed out at the Hidden Hills and Cedar Forest subdivision. That would also provide a connection, additional access point to those schools for folks living in those subdivisions. All the requirements regarding open space, amenities, building setbacks, and parking are met with this request. Planning Commission did recommend approval of this request, 6-4-0 against, and there were 6 conditions to go along with that. First of which, the condition for Percival Street to be extended from Wildwood to Hidden Hills Cedar Forest subdivision. It'd be constructed as part of this development. The town would work with the developer and school board regarding the right-of-way as part of this extension. Before permits are granted for Phase 4, which is the age-restricted part of this development behind the commercial portion, the vehicular access must be available made from Eden Springs Road West and Spring Hill Drive and Tamland Avenue to meet fire code. Improvements as recommended by the traffic study to be implemented if this development is approved. Provide a formal maintenance agreement for the stormwater pond on the town-owned property and within the TVA easement. Open space required to be maintained by HOA and managed by a third-party company. And a crosswalk and road connection at Wildwood Drive from the town-owned area may be required and will be reviewed in detail with the construction plan submitted for Phase 2, which is part of the single-family detached and townhomes for this development, as shown on sheet C 3.0 on the submitted plans. And with that, staff recommend approval.
Yeah, thank you, Mitch. This being a second reading, I know we've sort of been through the process, Tim and I at the planning level, and then the council as well already, but just want to open it up and see if there's any questions or comments for Mitch at all.
Yeah, this hasn't changed from first reading, it's
No.
exactly the same.
Exactly the same.
No questions. I said before, I think at first reading that, you know, when we laid out the overlay for Enon Springs West, we talked about layering and making sure that we preserved the appropriate amount of retail and commercial on the front, and then a little more dense house up next to that, and then the single-family residence behind. And that's it. It's pretty much exactly what this development is. It's exactly what we wanted to see there when we built that overlay. And I don't think they're here tonight, but I still would like to compliment the developers on, they met with, I think, each of us. I don't know if all of us met with them, but they met with several of us and listened to the concerns, the ideas, and the questions that we had, and I think they incorporated everything we asked them to incorporate. So I think it's a great project, and looking forward to it developing.
I agree. There's a good piece of that too that is designated for 55 plus
Yes.
for senior living, and so that always gets my attention. I think with our population now being what it is, 53,000 plus people, we've got a lot of aging seniors that would like to downsize and have a place for senior living. So I think it's a good product as well. Anybody else?
Well, just reiterate what Steve said. They and I met with them as well, and they certainly did listen to what at least what I had asked and was wanting to see in there. And I'm sure the rest of you said the same thing. And also with the commercial on the front, you know, we're always looking for some commercial area as well, and they've done that. So I'm very pleased with the product they brought.
And that's a future interchange area right there. We've been asking and begging for an interchange there at Rocky Fork, Enon Springs, Rocky Fork now for quite a few years, and we're taking baby steps. I know they're meeting now. The regional mayors are meeting and trying to come up with a negotiable plan to get that extended all the way out to McEwen Drive on the other side of that. So it's going to take a while. This isn't anything that's going to happen too quickly, but this meshes right into that whole idea and that concept. So.
But it also helps that discussion, right?
It
Because
does.
one of the discussions we've had with the state is that they're not gonna build an interchange to nowhere, right? Well, we need to have the beds and the
Regional
commercial,
connectivity.
right, the regional connectivity over to Franklin, all of that ties together. And this is just another kind of feather in the cap that helps us.
Any others? All right, we'll add that to the agenda. Move to number 5, consideration of an ordinance relative to the amendments to Municipal Code 4-201, 202, 203, and 204, addressing the personnel structure for the Office of Safety Risk Manager. This is to also second reading.
As Vice Mayor and Council, we spoke of this extensively on the first reading, as you know. This is basically just going to reflect what we actually have been doing for quite some time. It bifurcates the Human Resources Department from the Office of Safety and Risk Manager. The Safety and Risk Manager works with the legal department and reports to the town manager, and is separate and apart from the Human Resources. And this will just reflect that within the ordinance.
All right, any questions for Mr. Peach? Comments? All right. No? All right, thank you, Jeff. Without any feedback here, we'll just move on to the next one. We'll put that on the agenda as well. Item number 6, we'll move on to approval of the terms of the authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Erosion Solutions as the lowest responsive bidder on the shooting range erosion protection request for the bid. Tom?
Thank you, thank you, Mayor Council, Vice Mayor Council. On behalf of Police Department, we are working on a project with them to work on the shooting range. As you know, that got completed a couple of years ago. There's been some, we seeded and strawed it because of the steep slopes and the poor soil conditions. The grassy wasn't taking that well, so we got to work with them. They put together a budget a little over $70,000 to do this job. Erosion Solutions, we went to RFP. Erosion Solutions was the only responsive bidder on it to install some grass seed and some media to help that take a little bit better and to help that grow so that it helps hold all the soil in place. Erosion Solutions came in at a bid price of $28,755, significantly less than what was budgeted.
Thank you, Tom. Any questions for Tom on this? We'll add that to the agenda and keep moving. Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that. Item number 7, approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an agreement with Kimley Horn to update engineering details as part of the subdivision regulations. You've got that one too.
Yes, sir. The engineering details haven't been updated since 2009, so we set aside some money in our budget to update those. We just went to Kimley Horn, a local engineering firm, and just do it the request to look at what other municipalities are doing nearby, Murfreesboro, Laverne, Franklin, Brentwood, and just make sure that we're consistent with them and provide some good details so that people, the engineering consultants, have a good basis of what they need to do, what their expectations are in the design process, and then the contractors as well who are building the subdivisions and everything.
All right, any questions for Tom on this one? All right, move on to item number 8. Thank you, Tom. Approval of the terms of and authorization for the mayor to execute an annual service contract with Parker Hannifin Corporation Service to continue routine service support of the THM analyzer equipment. Hi, Mike.
How are you?
Good.
Good. As you said, this is the annual service agreement for THM Analyzer, which is lab equipment they use to test the water at the water plant.
Questions for Mike?
I was going to ask you what's THM Analyzer, but you just answered that, so no more.
Miss HG being here, usually he asks that question.
Yeah. I was just curious. I was
Yeah.
like, what the heck is THM? I could come up with several things that fit that acronym, but I don't know if any of them are accurate.
We'll hold that for later.
It's trihalomethylates.
Did you get that?
Organics in the water.
That wasn't one of my guesses.
There'll be a spelling bee in a few minutes.
That's right.
afterwards. Thank you, Mike. Any questions for Mike on this at all? Seeing none, we'll move on and add that to the agenda. Item number 9, consideration of a list of surplus items to be sold through GovDeals, an online auction company, and I knew Rex, you'd have this one, so.
Vice Mayor and Council, in your packet was a list of surplus items that we would like to sell at auction. The list includes vehicles that have been seized as well as equipment that have been removed from service. The town seeks permission to conduct an online auction to sell these surplus items. The auction will be advertised in the Murfreesboro Post, on our website, and Channel 3. All the surplus items will be sold through GovDeals, an online auction company.
You know, the mayor does some of her Christmas shopping off this list sometimes, I think, so.
I see some birthday items that would be good too.
Any questions for Rex on this? All right, we'll add that to the agenda. Thank you, Rex. Item 10, consideration of an update to the Town of Smyrna Public Records Policy. Mr. Peach?
Yes, Mayor and Council. As you're probably aware, we currently do have an open records policy. However, this is just an updated policy that the Tennessee Office of Open Records Council has placed out, and it's there's not really any sweeping changes. It's just really more concise, not as much in narrative form as the previous one was. It goes a little bit more by bullet points, so it provides a little bit better direction for those that are following it. But I would just ask that you approve this as is.
And this sort of follows the same track record we've had for a long time, I think.
Yes.
It's just kind of cleaned it up a little bit. so.
Correct. Just perfected it a little more.
Yeah, all right. Any questions for Mr. Peach on this, or Brian? we will add that to the agenda. I think that kind of covers our agenda items tonight. We have other. Does anybody have anything they want to add?
No, sir, Mr.
Any of you? Any directors, staff reports? Anybody have anything they want to share? Rex?
I'll go ahead and hit the revenue numbers. The November state shared tax collections were $661,082. That gives us a $631,389 budget surplus. The November local sales tax collections were $1,444,907, and this gives us a $710,254 budget surplus.
We like surpluses.
The money's rolling in, and on the state share, most of that, the bulk of that's state sales tax. So,
Shopping local. A lot of that is shopping local.
people are listening to HG.
Yeah, they have. She has a lot of input on that, I think.
And thanks for the chart updates as well. It looks a lot cooler now. It's got a nice little ramp to it, so.
All right.
He likes ramps.
Yeah. Evil Knievel.
Thank you, Rex. Any questions for Rex at all?
No.
All right. Anybody else? Mike, everybody good? Charles? Sam Ridley Parkway feels so much better right now, so. Thank you and Tom for working on it. You want to add something to that?
Just like I said, yeah, Tom's ITS system is working, and our traffic operations center with Jonathan Hemingway is rephasing the traffic signals, so he's really been working hard on that every day, tweaking the signal, so we're really pleased with it.
My question, kind of where are we phase level on the ITS?
While he's coming up, Charles, I'll tell you that I tested the lights, and I tested the time on a last Wednesday at 5 p.m. I got off on Sam Ridley, which is probably arguably the worst time to be on Sam Ridley, and it took me 3 minutes and 44 seconds to get through Old Nashville Highway.
All right.
And that's at 5 p.m. on Wednesday night, pretty much the day everyone was getting off for Christmas.
Yeah.
So it's
pretty good.
Huge improvement.
Thanks.
Tom, you want to give us an update on ITS?
Yeah, the next phase, the next group to finish out the whole ITS project, we've resubmitted all the environmental documents to TDOT. They had a few minor comments on those on that document, on the environmental document. We made the revisions, sent it back to them. I think it was yesterday or day before. So should be looking to get notice to proceed to construction phase here soon. I'm not sure exactly when that is because they've got to make their approval, send it to FHWA for approval, allocate the money, and then give us notice to proceed to construction. So I'm hoping that in the next few months, I don't want to say something that's going to get me in trouble, but I'm hoping the next few months that we should get the construction open on it and we can go out to bid.
So that was February 28th? No, I'm just
yeah.
No, it's
February
not.
29th.
It's leap year.
Actually, so yeah. But yeah, hopefully getting that going soon and so be done by the end of next year and all the lights connected to it. Mm-hmm.
Just real quick, just a brief coverage of what it is, so the public that might be listening can
Right.
kind of understand what ITS is and what it should do to help our traffic control.
Yeah, ITS stands for Intelligent Transportation System. What we do is use a combination of fiber, cell modem to connect all the signals back to one central location. So there's a room in the Public Works Department back there where there's an operator who sits, who can bring up cameras in different locations, see what the traffic flow looks like. You can also see if there's any problem with detection at any of the locations to make sure that all the phases are being met and people are, you're not sitting there and a whole round goes by and you still have a red light. If that problem does occur, we'll know about it immediately rather than waiting for someone to tell us the problem that's going on. Also, as Charles mentioned before, Jonathan does get in like 6 o'clock in the morning and just sits there and watches traffic with the videos. And he'll see if there's backups on side streets or on main lines and make tweaks to the timing so that those cars get through a little bit quicker and make these little bit of incremental adjustments so that the next day when people are going through there, it's a little bit smoother. Also, he has the ability, what's really cool, is you link all of these traffic signals online, like through Sam Ridley, from I-24 through Old National Highway. We link them all together, and we can adjust it to where when you get on there, when you get on Sam Ridley, say off of I-24, and you hit a green light, you can hit green lights all the way through. As long as you're driving, consistent speed, should be able to hit green lights going all the way through that section of roadway, and we'll be able to do that with 41 Lowry Street right out here, and eventually be able to do that with Lee Victory, and then further south on 41 too.
That's about as big as getting our Sam Ridley Parkway and Jefferson Pike widened, really. That's a great tool
Yeah,
to help with traffic control. I know Chief sitting back there will love having that instilled too, stop some of those accidents from happening, so.
Is there a flashing light sequence I can get to get green lights?
Clicker?
Yeah,
Clicker?
he's got the camera. Can I send him some Morse code? Or
Brian, do you have a clicker?
I do not have a clicker.
We just want to know if you have a
I do
clicker.
not have a clicker, I promise you. I don't need one.
All right, any questions for Tom on that? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Council, one thing I'd like to point out, and Tom and Charles do a great job for us in the engineering side, and I know a lot of times the general public doesn't understand all the parts of like building a road like Sam Ridley, that it's not just going out there and paving a lane, that there's stormwater, there's utilities, there's building base, and then the final coat and painting the stripes and those kind of things. But even past that, there's so much work that goes into this. Literally, right now, a good measurement, if you think we're gonna need a road today, you're 5, maybe 6 years away from actual construction. And one of the things that we just learned, I had the opportunity to be at the MPO meeting last month, and with FHWA and with TDOT, there's a phase that we go through, and you've heard it spoke about tonight, called NEPA. It used to take about 6 months to get through the NEPA phase, and basically what happens is before we get a notice to proceed to construction and design, we have to do NEPA. NEPA basically is an environmental look at the property and what issues could be there. Everything from, salamander that lives in the creek to, a woodpecker that lives in the trees.
What was it, bats out by the
Bats,
catfish
all
house?
of those
Summit.
things.
Yeah.
It's the Summit property, we had bats.
They informed us at MPO, TDOT said that you can now consider NEPA will take you a minimum of 1 year to process. So when we start talking about a road and we're in that early stage, we may have as much as a year and more to get just that phase where there's nothing happening in the public's eye. There's a lot of work going on the backside, to make sure environmentally that there's clearance for us to build that road or to change that intersection and those kind of things. Then you still have to do the design work and you still have to do the construction. So I think sometimes it's good for the public to understand that it's not just as easy as going out and paving a lane on Sam Ridley and making us, a road.
It's
There's
kind
a
of
lot
like the
to it.
interchange that I mentioned a minute ago.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to take
It's
a while.
years
It's just a
of
lot.
work
Yeah.
and
And
process.
Sam Ridley, talking about Tom and Charles, I give them credit because I think Charles about a year and a half ago was telling us, yeah, by December of 21, it should be done. But like Tom, he said, but I'm not going to promise it, But
And
they
there's
got it
still
done.
work to be done out there.
They got it done.
We've still got to do the final,
I understand, but it's
striping and
flowing,
stuff.
and it's a lot better.
Yeah,
The,
one of the things that has come up, sorry, Mark,
No,
one
go
of the
ahead.
things that's come up I've seen it on Facebook, Hip Smyrna, I've had a few friends mention it, and I'm glad that you mentioned the time period, because I've had quite a few folks have already said, when are we gonna do from Old Nashville Highway to Lowry? Why did we stop here, et cetera? So, and we've talked about this multiple times, but it kind of fits the conversation today. The traffic counts on Sam Ridley drop off drastically at Old Nashville Highway. I want to say by like 60% or something. I don't remember the number, but it's a big number.
It is a big number.
And so when we were going to the state, that's a state road, and we're going to the state and asking them to widen, that's a factor. And the state has to approve everything we do. So just so everyone understands, although we didn't go past Old Nashville Highway this time because traffic counts didn't warrant it, we understand developments are coming and they're 3 to 5 years out, if not sooner. And we have already started that process, to the next process to justify and to get the state to approve the widening on to Sam Ridley. So,
Yeah,
on
and
to Lowry.
I sent you guys an email today. Charles shared with me that we just got the 2019-2020 updated numbers on traffic counts.
Saw that.
I forwarded those to you guys to see. Traffic counts actually came down, and I think it's probably because during the COVID, the heaviest burden of COVID, we saw a lot of people not leaving their homes, so the traffic numbers came down. That doesn't help our case, to build those roads. There, especially when it's a state route and the exact words. It's gonna be TDOT looking at all those factors to see if there's a warrant to make an improvement on that road, and traffic is one of the big issues.
Yeah, one of the things that they've told us for years as it relates to the interchange is that they weren't completely convinced that we needed that interchange because they felt we needed to make some improvements on San Marino and Almaville Road to help traffic flow. And if we did that, then maybe the interchange isn't ready yet. So it's good and bad. We made Sam Ridley a lot better, but we may have actually put ourselves back a little bit on some of our other updates because now things are flowing so well, which is a good thing. That's what we want, right? But those are the kind of conversations that happen behind the scenes that it's not just, we get to sit here and say, go pave a road. It's not how it works. I wish it did.
And the wild card on the other interchange that hasn't happened yet is what we talked about earlier, the regional connectivity, which we cannot do with Sam Ridley, or really Amable's already laid out.
And, we do have a study being done that should be completed in the next 5 months that will help us build that case, and all 6 jurisdictions are working together on that. So it's not just us, it's
I'm just
everybody
hoping we
working
get that.
together.
I'm hoping we get that before I retire, so I could actually drive it to work one time.
I understand. We're working on it.
And Jefferson Pike is coming along nicely. It's going to take a while. We knew it was a 3-year project.
Three-year
but
project.
That's another state road, right?
That's
So
correct.
we have to work with the state. They guide everything pretty much, and
And,
speed limits, things like that. They have a
that-
lot.
we don't set any
We
of
don't
that.
get to
That's all-
set that. I had
that's
a
all
gentleman
set by
email
TDOT.
me about that a couple of weeks ago, and he wanted that speed limit raised. I said, well, you need to talk to your state representatives,
That's
because
right.
it has
That's-
nothing to do
that's TDOT.
with what we do. So.
And just so you know, we are also beginning to look at Amabile Road from 840 into I-24. We know with the growth on the west side of the community that there's going to be pressure on that road. Again, that's a state route. We are actually working with the state. They're involved, again, commend Charles and Tom with the relationships we have there with TDOT. We've asked them to come to the table to make sure that the study we're doing would be something that would meet their standards of review and not just the towns. So we're trying to work more in concert with our partners and make sure that we're getting good information. But again, that's a long process and a lot of moving parts. I wished it was easy as you said, hey, go pave a road. We can go pave a road. I know how to do that. But the problem is, it's all that stuff behind it that has to be done, so.
Good conversation. I think the public gets a little out of it too, and that's why it's always healthy and good for us to talk about it up here where they can get a little education. They don't deal with it every day, we do, and it's kind of like nice for them to hear the inner workings of why it takes so long sometimes.
And sometimes we share their frustrations.
We always share their frustration.
Yes, no doubt.
All right, I have nothing else, so I'm going to go to Diane this evening. And Diane, you've said everything you probably needed to say. I tried to extend this meeting a little longer by having traffic conversations just to keep you in that chair, maybe just another 10 or 15 minutes. But do you have anything else you need to add or want to add?
No.
All right, well, you know what we've shared with you already, and we're going to miss seeing you. Amber, welcome in. All right. How about you, Mr. Hercules?
Yes, Mayor, Vice Mayor and Council, I do have a couple of things that are one of those that we have to share, but it's not something that's very pleasant. I had the opportunity to visit with one of our firefighters, Ricky Mallory, this week at a visitation for his infant daughter that passed away during the holidays, Ruby Bell Mallory. And my heart's broke for that family, and I know our prayers are with them. But did want to recognize that. Also, Casey Conard, I think she was here earlier. She's left. Her grandmother passed away this past week, and I know that the family would again appreciate our prayers. Wanted to recognize several departments. The Parks and Rec Department, I saw Mike back there. The Streets Department, the Police Department, Fire Department for Christmas on Front Street. It was a wonderful event. Very well attended. We had the carriage rides, and the downtown area looked really nice and was very safe. And a lot of work went into that, Mike, with you and your staff. So thank you so much for putting that on. I want to remind everybody that Town Hall will be closed tomorrow, December 31st, in recognition of New Year's. The holiday actually falls on a weekend this year, so that's our technical holiday. So tomorrow, December 31st, the offices will be closed. Also wanted to recognize Chief Arnold. His department put on a really nice event for some local children with the FOP and the Smyrna Police Department with Shop with a Cop. And I think there was 75 children served. 75 children served. I had the opportunity to go by there and just kind of see the action. What a heartwarming event that was, to see our police officers and detectives and the staff out there working with those children and them getting an opportunity. And it's always interesting, you know, when you get these small children, you think they're going to go in and go crazy on the toy aisle, and you see these children that, you know, instead of buying for themselves, they want to go buy a pair of shoes for their brother or sister, or a coat for their mother, or those kind of things. So, you know, we all got a lot of blessed opportunities in our life, and sometimes we need to recognize that other folks may be struggling a little bit, just like we do with the food bank and those kind of things. So it was a really nice event, and I thank the police department and the FOP Lodge for their work on that. If you'd like to donate and recycle your Christmas tree, as those will be coming down probably in the next few days, if you'll remove all the decorations, you can bring it over to Lee Victory Park, adjacent to the Freedom Playground, and drop off your tree through January the 16th, and we'll be carrying those for mulching opportunities. So anybody that has a tree that they'd like to get rid of, instead of just throwing it out on the street or on the back road somewhere, we'd appreciate if you bring it by Lee Victory Park. You know, as I talk about dropping it off on the back roads, I'm gonna, you know, HG's not here tonight to talk about shop local, but I'm still here to talk about our litter issue. We continue to fight that problem all over town, and you know, we're working. Just this week, I saw twice some of our friends from Rutherford County Correctional Center helping us clean up some of our streets with our street department. Chief, I got a real nice email today. The back of Seven Oaks subdivision, those folks are taking it very serious back there. The community is getting behind the cleanup. They've put some cameras out. We've put some cameras out, and we continue to have some dumping back there on that back street. And we're going to get some pictures, and we're going to get some license plate numbers, and we're going to pay them a visit and talk to them about why they choose to litter on those back roads. And that's not going to be the only place that we'll be deploying cameras. So folks, you need to be aware, we are watching, and if we can catch you, we're going to pay a visit to you. So we ask you to love where you live. I always say it's an individual decision to litter. Nobody makes you throw that stuff out of the back of your truck or out of the compartment of your car. So please take heed. We're taking it serious. Also, I received a letter from Rutherford County addressed to Chief Bill Culberson, with me carbon copied from Sonia Stevenson. As you know, this time of the year, everybody's doing little events around the Christmas holidays, and they had a real nice Christmas tree lighting event, but they asked us to step out and help them a little bit, and the chief took some barricades down to help them control traffic and control the crowds at their tree lighting, and they were very appreciative, and it helped make that a very safe event. So thank you, Chief, from Rutherford County. The last thing I have on my agenda, and I know it's been talked about a lot tonight, but I just want to say the last 3.5 years have been just a wonderful experience for me to work for the town of Smyrna. One of the things that's made it very special is every council workshop and every council meeting, on my right-hand side and her left-hand side, I've had the pleasure to work with the matriarch of Smyrna politics. I'm telling you, this woman, she knows where all the bodies are buried, and she's not willing to tell us.
Does she know where they're going to bury the other ones?
Yeah, she's keeping it a secret, but she has seen and done a lot for this town, and there's no doubt, Diane, if you ever wonder if you've touched lives in this community, let me tell you, you have, and for the positive. And I don't know that we could ever thank you enough for the 40 years of service that you provided this town. And I just want you to know what an honor it's been for me to sit here with you.
It's my privilege to serve.
That's all I have.
Thank you, Brian. Counselor, what have you got for us this evening?
Well, obviously, tell Diane that I'm going to miss her, and I don't know who will say my full name whenever I'm getting out of hand.
She's going to miss that.
Amber will.
I think that's been embedded. I think that's been embedded right there.
Yes. But,
just so you know, it's Jeffrey L.
I asked just tonight, the L stands for Lynn, so Jeffrey and Lynn, if you really want to get formal.
She means a lot to a lot of people. Just appreciate her.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, sir. How about you, Tim?
Wow, this is an honor. I'm usually third base here.
Yeah.
It's first base tonight.
I would like to extend my condolences to the Mallory family, and Casey and the Conrad family on their losses. I mean, my goodness, that's so tough, especially this time of year. To both our chiefs and we'll start there. You know, it goes a lot further with your departments. It's more than just emergency services that you guys provide. It's community involvement, and for that, thank you, and thank you to your firefighters and your officers for what they do. Miss Diane, I think I've told you about 5 or different times how much I'm going to miss you, how much I appreciate you, and what you've meant to the town of Smyrna. So it may have been 5 times, but it's not enough. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart, and all that you've meant to me, and all that you've meant to the town.
You
So
all have a place in my heart, too.
thank you. Amber, looking forward to working with you. I know that you're more than capable, and you're going to do an outstanding job. So for that, I am excited about that. Now, I have actually got some out-of-town visitors, and I think they've given up SpongeBob and Peppa Pig tonight to watch this. And if they're still watching, which it would blow my mind if that happened.
It's a tough crowd to beat out SpongeBob.
I know. So, to Katie and Gio, thank you. I'm glad you got to see me here tonight on TV. And yes, I am coming home to grill shortly. Also to my daughter, Kristen, thanks for bringing the grandkids up for the Christmas holidays. We've got some more family get-togethers to go. And that's one of those things where I think I read it online. Bill, you may have even posted it, where it's, as you get older, it's not what you get, but it's your family and your friends that you're around that mean more to you during this year. So in honor of HG, be kind and shop local.
Thanks,
That's it.
Tim.
HG be proud.
She would be proud. Jerry?
Yes, also, my condolences to the Mallory and Casey as well. Certainly sorry, and thoughts and prayers are with that family. Miss Diane, as they've all said, congratulations, and thank you for all you've done. And I know we talked before, we've known each other a long time, but it's going to be a fun time, and you'll just, you've earned it, and just enjoy it. But thank you so much for what you've done. I also want to say congratulations to a friend of ours, Karen Boyd. We went the other night to her retirement party, and she's just recently retired, and her and Patty are very close friends. So I know, I told Patty, I said, you got a running buddy now. So I don't know, my billfold may get a little bit thinner with them two running quite a bit, but certainly want to congratulate Karen and Carl. Also, Tom, Charles, thank you guys. I had that down to mention that as well. The other night at that party, they kept talking about Sam Ridley and how good it was. So thank you for staying with it and staying on top of it and getting it taken care of. We really appreciate it. Let's see. I've got a couple of birthdays. My son Trenton had his birthday on the 27th, which was, I guess, Monday, and we've actually not had it yet because he went out of town and just got back in today. So we've got to celebrate that one. And my wife Patty's birthday is January the 1st, so we'll start celebrating that tomorrow night at midnight when the ball drops. So happy birthday to both of those. And then just want to say have a safe and happy New Year.
Thank you, Jerry. How about you, Steve?
Excellent. Diane, obviously, you know, everyone's already said everything I could say, but we will definitely miss you. You know, it's always been kind of a little bit of a, I guess, a comfort thing to look over there and see you sitting next to the town manager, whoever that is, and it's been a lot of years it's been you sitting in that chair. So you've been the consistency behind the leadership for all those years, mayor, council, and town manager. You know, a lot of times we don't change seats every 4 years, although they're up for a re-election. A lot of times we stay in these seats for a couple of terms, and it's important to know that there's people like you behind us that keep the town running consistent and carry things forward time and time again. I know when I first got elected, there was a significant learning curve, and there was a lot of information that you and others shared that kind of helped me get there quickly, so I appreciate that. And Papa Tom, I feel sorry for you, buddy. She's coming home to be with you more. So she runs a tight ship here, so I can only imagine what it's going to be like there.
Well,
So
I figure, I said that I'm probably getting the worst end of this deal.
well, my mom retired last year. My dad retired this year, and I can tell you that my dad has said he's never worked so hard since he retired. He's been trimming trees and doing all kinds of stuff that he hasn't done in years. So, congratulations! I think you'll realize how quickly that you can get used to not having to come here every day. So you got a huge family. Some of those, your daughter and I share the same birthday, so I've kind of joked with her over the years. I think we were actually born the same year, so maybe even the same hospital. But anyway, you're both of your son-in-laws I went to high school with. They're good friends of mine, so I think they're going to be they're getting the best end of this deal for sure. They're going to get more time with you, which is great. Also, Casey's grandmother, obviously, it's tough to lose family members, and it's even tougher during this time of the year. So give her our condolences, and hope that they can have some peace at this time. There's also another death, Ronald Close. Many of you may not have heard the name before, but he's from the Middle Tennessee, Smyrna area. But his wife and his son are teachers at Lancaster, right here, and he passed away this morning. So he's got another son, Russell Close and Reese Close. They're both in the area, and Russell's a former Marine, just got out maybe a year ago, and is now teaching at LCA. Him and my son Kevin grew up together. So the Close family, obviously, he'd battled with cancer for a couple of years and lost his battle today. So for the Close family, I offer my peace and comfort in whatever I can do for you, and ask that God be with you guys in this time. We've got a birthday. My brother's birthday is tomorrow, December 31st. He is 4 years younger than me, so he will be 46. Still acts like he's 20. He's the baby, so he gets all the glory. But anyway, so I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else.
All right, thank you. Well, so I've said my piece to Diane probably 3 or 4 times today. So Diane, just repeating it again. I'd like just real quick a show of hands out there that we can see it. Who's been with the town 25 years or more? Look at those hands go up.
1, 2,
And
3, 4, 5, 6.
Jeffrey L., 25, I think.
25.
You just finished up. Todd? 34. Rex?
31.
31. Chief?
32.
This chief?
32.
That says something, doesn't it? About, the people that serve this city love it. And they continue to want to be here and want to work. Mike, 25?
Yes, sir.
25 years? And that's a lot of our directors and staff here. So congratulations to all of you. We appreciate the service time that you've all given to the town. And I know some of you sitting out there that don't have 20 or 25 years yet probably will. You're just in a good, no, you're shaking your head. Probably won't live to see it, right?
Right. Brian, do you know who's the most tenured employee behind Diane?
David Pruitt.
And how many years?
He's getting close to 40.
40.
Wow.
The point that you make, I shared a statistic at our employee luncheon. We had 59 employees recognized this year for service above 5 years in 5-year increments. Our total years, 59 people represented 950 years of service to the town. That's an
awesome.
average of about 17 years. And of course, Diane with 40 and several others with 25 and 30. It's very impressive, the tenure that our folks have.
Well, I wanted to recognize Todd especially because Beverly will know he was here.
That's right.
Yeah. We have a few people missing tonight for various reasons. Mary Esther, HG, and Raquel. I think Raquel's, if I'm not mistaken, she's on a cruise ship or coming back from one soon. So I'm glad everybody had a little downtime, could get away and be with their families. Somebody mentioned Christmas a while ago, I think it was Tim. And, family Christmas is really what holidays are all about. And when I think about the blessings that we all have, we're very fortunate people to live in a town that has so many people that care about it and protect it. And so I'm thankful for all of that. And, a few people that were mentioned, the Mallory family, I can't even fathom what they're probably going through. And just know my prayers will include your family. Casey's grandmother, I've spoken with her, and in my industry, an icon passed away this past week, Howard Wall. If you're familiar with Snow and Wall Realty from years ago, Howard has just been a trendsetter in the real estate industry for a lot of years, and he will be missed. Everybody that ever worked for Howard, I never personally worked for him or his firm, but I knew Howard, and they would tell you he was a kind, gentle man, and just always would shake your hand and look you in the eye and tell you how much, he'd ask questions about you. He'd want to know about you. And guys like that don't come around too often. A lot of times you would think they're just too busy to take the time to spend time with you. That wasn't Howard. He was a giant. So we're going to miss Howard in our industry. With that, I don't think I have anything else, so I will call this meeting adjourned. Thank you all.